Good evening and welcome to the Township Committee meeting of August the 13th of 2019. Ms. Borick, will you please call the roll?
Committeewoman Holmes.
Here.
Committeeman Lapani.
Here.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Thompson. Mayor Delcor.
Here.
Administrator Ferreira.
Here.
And Attorney Willard.
Here. Please join me in a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be advised that in accordance with Section 5 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975, that notice of this meeting was made by a posting on the bulletin board at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex and notifying the officially designated newspapers that this meeting would take place at the Hillsborough Township Municipal Complex at 7:30 p.m. on August the 13th, 2019. Before we begin the main part of our meeting tonight, I would like to take a moment of silence. Since our last meeting, we've experienced three mass shootings, one in Gilroy, California, Dayton, Ohio, and El Paso, Texas. We are trying to support the victims and their families. Our thoughts and prayers go to all of them. And if you would please join me now in a moment of silence. Thank you. First on our agenda, we have approval of minutes. We have the June 11th, 2019 Township Committee meeting minutes. Can I have a motion for those minutes, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor? Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Mayor Thompson. Mayor Delcor. Sorry.
Yes. We also have the approval of the July 9th, 2019 Township Committee meeting minutes. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor? Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Mayor Delcor.
Yes. We'll move to reports from committee liaisons. First up is Committeewoman McCauley.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. A few things for me this evening from Police and Emergency Management. There's a reminder on August 28th, there will be a detour in the Wirtsville Road area. And as you all are well aware, if you get NICSA alerts, you do get those alerts to let you know to plan accordingly. Wirtsville Road between Long Hill and Montgomery Road is due to be paved this year, but as part of the Somerset County Bridge project, there's a replacement project. There's a need to close some portions of that area. So please ensure that you are aware of this and the detour and follow the detours appropriately and plan accordingly for additional travel time in that area. Chief McMahon and the Hillsborough Police Department would like to remind everyone that school will be back in session very shortly. That will mean increased pedestrian traffic as well as buses and other vehicles around the school areas. So please be alert to the flashing lights that are stop buses as children are entering and exiting the buses. Passing a stopped bus with warning lights activated can result in a 5-point violation and substantial fees. So please follow these strict laws and regulations as school's back in session soon. On Wednesday, August 14th, between the hours of 9 and 3 p.m. at the intersection of Opie Road and Falcon Road, there will be one lane of traffic through the intersection for utility work being done there. There will not be a traffic light there at all. It'll be a four-way stop, so please be aware that we'll be alternating traffic at that time. Please exercise caution when proceeding through that area. Again, it would be 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. A quick information, Agricultural Department, Hillsborough Township has created Hillsborough Harvest. It's a campaign promoting the value of Hillsborough farms and all their local products. Participating farms will be featured on the Hillsborough Harvest page on hillsboroughbusiness.org, where they can advertise all of their local products and events for free. It is up and running now, so residents and visitors can visit the page and click on the Hillsborough Harvest icon for all upcoming events. So very nice addition to our business service here in Hillsborough. And that would be it this evening from you, Mayor.
Thank you. Committeeman Lapani.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple of things. First, I was able to attend a week ago or so, Coffee with a Cop. Obviously, we have a bunch of our force here today, and a bunch of them were there. This is the second annual Coffee with a Cop, which was held on July 23rd at Starbucks in Hillsborough on Route 206. I'd like to personally thank Starbucks for opening their doors to this event, which is a great community event. A lot of kids were there, taking place with an interaction with the police, and the police were behind the counter trying to make a Friday latte or something, and it didn't go so well, but everybody had a good time. Starbucks created an approach to Hillsborough PBA 205 last year to host this inaugural event. As I said, it's been a big success in connecting with our community and our police department. Deputy Mayor Thompson was able to stop by, as well as myself, and Olivia Holmes, our Committeeman Holmes, was there to attend the event. If there are any other businesses that would like to host a similar event with the cops, please contact the Hillsborough business advocate, David Coyce, and we can look into scheduling something in the future. Obviously, this time of year, if your pool contains more than 24 inches of water and it's not a pond, the answer is yes. Pools have a specific requirement for their installation and for their barrier. These requirements are intended to provide protection against potential drowning and near drowning by restricting access to the pool. Seasonal pools may be temporary, but they can pose life-threatening issues if their barrier requirements are not properly met. Please stop by the building department for more information and to get our residential swimming pool guide. A little bit from the engineering department. They would like to remind residents that sump pumps discharges may be maintained on their property, but residents should not install extension pipes and discharge to a neighbor's property or the street. Discharges to a neighbor's property will cause a water impact to the neighbor's property, and the neighbor could file a civil impact case against you. So obviously, we just want to be a good neighbor there as much as possible. The engineering department recommends that if you do install extension pipes on your sump pump to discharge the line, you should end it in the middle of your back of your front yard or rear yard so the water can percolate into the ground before reaching your neighbor's property. If you have any questions, please feel to contact our engineering department, for guidelines. From the finance department, the state of New Jersey is releasing the second payment of the homestead rebates. They will be credited to the fourth quarter property tax bills and will appear and mailed out in the week of September 16th. The Public Works Department has continued its progress on basin repairs in advance of paving projects in town. The 100th basin was fixed this past week. This figure represents the hard work the crews which normally hit this summer as a total for the year have already exceeded it before that. The aggressive approach helps keep scheduling for the paving roads on track. Dates still remain available online for the Township Cleanup Program. Please click the Public Works link under the Department tab on the Township website to find comprehensive instructions in participating in this program. From the Business Advocate, our next business social will be Thursday, October 17th at the Palanka, which is the Polish Falcon Camp on Falcon Road. Details to purchase tickets will be out soon through the HBA e-News. To sign up for the HBA e-News, go to hillsboroughbusiness.org. And if you didn't notice, this is Rotary Fair Week from all the signs on Route 206. I'd like to thank Mayor Derek Delcor, Committeeman McCauley, and Committeewoman Holmes for joining me this evening at the fair. And there's a rumor out there that Friday, if those want to participate, that myself, Committeeman Thompson, Resource Officer Giraldi, and our newly elected Police Chief McMahon will be in the dunk tank. So if you have any aggression or feelings, this might be a night to warm up the old arm. So stay tuned, and please come out and support the Rotary Fair. It all goes to a very good cause. And lastly, the Hillsborough Alliance, Millstone Hillsborough Alliance, is hosting an overdose and suicide awareness vigil on Wednesday, August 28th at the Raritan Valley Community College Conference Center. The vigil starts at 6 p.m. and is being held to raise awareness of this significant impact overdose and suicide has had in our community. The event sends a strong message to those who battle mental health and substance abuse disorders as they are supported and do not have to go through it alone. That's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Committeewoman Holmes.
Thank you, Mayor.
Hillsborough Township wants to help your business cut your energy bills, save money on your bottom line, while also helping to create a cleaner, healthier community. In partnership with Sustainable Jersey and the New Jersey Board of Public Utilities, we would like to make you aware of the New Jersey's Clean Energy Program that will provide you with a free energy assessment and will pay up to 70% of the cost energy savings upgrades to your building. Created specifically for existing small to medium-sized facilities, Direct Install is a turnkey project solution that makes it easy and affordable to upgrade to high-efficiency equipment. For more information, visit the business support page on www.hillsboroughbusiness.org. Now, fall soccer registration is now open until August 16th for boys and girls ages 3 through grade 12. Sign up today to guarantee a spot in our league. All games are held on Saturdays at various soccer fields in town. New this season, 5th through 12th grade teams will have the opportunity to play new this season. 5th through 12th grade teams will have the opportunity to play both at the Municipal Complex and Apex Turf Fields. Coaches are needed for all age groups and leagues. Please consider volunteering your time to be a head coach or an assistant coach. Visit the Parks and Recreation website, hillsboroughNJRecreation.org, for more details. We are very excited to announce that this fall, for Hillsborough Recreation Department, we'll be running a girls' fall softball league for the first time ever. The league is open to girls in grades 1st through 8th. There'll be one practice during the week and one game on Saturdays. Practices will begin on September 9th and the first games will be played on September 14th. This is a great opportunity for girls to get extra playing time and prepare for the upcoming spring season. Visit hillsboroughrecreation.org to register by the deadline of August 29th, and we hope to see you all out on the fields. The Fall Activities Guide and registration for fall programs will be available by Friday, August 16th. We offer programs for a variety of age groups, from toddlers to adults. New for the fall are the following programs: the Little Gym, On the Go Fun for kids aged 19 to 30 months, Super Soccer Stars, an interactive preschool sports program for children aged 3 through 5, and Code Ninjas, an introductory coding class for children ages 7 through 14. If you do not receive an email with the activities guide attached, please check the Parks and Recreation website this Friday for more information. That's all. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Before I start, we do have some empty, if you want to come up and sit, there's a few folks in the back. Okay, it's been a while since we had our last meeting, so if you'll indulge me for a little bit, a number of events and activities to highlight. Along with Committeeman Lapani, Ms. Borak, and our business advocate, David Coyce, we had the Hillsborough Community Night on July 13th at the Somerset Patriots. I'd like to thank the Patriots for their hospitality in welcoming us there. We had a number of businesses that came out to support as well. And Sean O'Hara, who runs the Sean O'Hara Foundation. For those of you that don't know Sean O'Hara, he's the big guy right there on the picture there. Hillsborough legend and giant Super Bowl winner, runs a foundation, and we were able to get out there and raise some good money for his foundation. We got the opportunity to throw the first pitch out, a number of us. Just for the record, I did throw a strike. The Patriots were obviously so enamored with my pitching skills, they offered me a contract right after the game. I had a little bit of work still to do in Hillsborough, so I had to turn them down, but it was flattering anyway, so I appreciate their support. But it was a lot of fun, and appreciate everyone that came out that evening. We had the grand opening of another business here in Hillsborough, Simply Sweets by Lauren. It's a cake studio located on Route 206 in the Triangle Center. Committeewoman Holmes joined me for that, and our business advocate David Coyce for the ribbon cutting. We got to sample some of her sweets, and if what we were able to sample is any indication, I'm sure she will be quite successful in that location. Very, really good stuff. So glad to have another business here in Hillsborough. Also got to join an event at the Bridgeway facility on Amwell Road. It was a quilt of valor presentation to World War II veteran Thomas Deddy. Mr. Deddy, as a World War II vet, is part of the Greatest Generation, and it was an honor to meet him personally and be able to thank him for his service. But it was particularly meaningful to attend this particular ceremony with the quilt. It happened to be his birthday as well. The Quilt of Valor Foundation is a not-for-profit organization formed several years ago, and they have a number of volunteers that create these incredible quilts for Army veterans or veterans in general, veterans of war, and they try to use the quilts as a comforting and healing process for the veterans. So really a nice gesture that the Quilt of Valor Foundation does, and it was really an honor to meet with Mr. Deddy and be part of that presentation to him. I was joined by Deputy Mayor Thompson and Committeeman Lapani for our annual fishing derby and family campout. That was on August the 6th, I believe, Friday. I'd like to thank the Parks and Recreation Department for their work in preparing and setting that up. We had always a good time. Have a movie on the field. We also, the fishing derby, the first place winner, Noah Bogoski, caught an 8.5-pound fish, which I believe is the largest one that's ever been caught at our fishing derby. The second place winner caught one that was 5.4 pounds, and that was Jackson Nemus, and Mark Stadniski reeled in one, a 2.7-pounder. So congratulations to the fishing derby recipients, and I hope everybody had a good time at the camp out. August 7th, we had our annual Purple Heart Day here in Hillsborough. Hillsborough, one of the first communities in New Jersey to be recognized as a Purple Heart community. Always an honor for us on August 7th to have the recognition by the Military Order of the Purple Heart for us to thank them for their selfless courage in protecting our freedom. The Purple Heart is awarded to military members who are injured or killed in action, and we had a number of them here with us for the event, and it's just a tremendous honor to be able to recognize them each year. If you haven't had the opportunity to see the monument that we have in our Garden of Honor out front, I would encourage you to please do so. It was donated by the Military Order of the Purple Heart, and it's one of the really beautiful monuments we have out front in our Garden of Honor. A quick road paving update. We recently completed the second phase of our 2019 road paving plan. That's South Triangle Road and Cardinal Lane were recently completed, slightly ahead of schedule, which is good to see. What's more important is we actually have two roadways that were originally slated for 2020 that we're moving up to be completed this fall. That's Roycefield Road and Beekman Lane. The completion of Beekman Lane really from the just near the railroad tracks all the way to River Road will be completed this year, so we're looking forward to having that done. We're also still over the next month or so, we'll be completing Raider Boulevard, Wurtsville Road, and we're waiting for some DOT funding, grant funding for Willow Road, but that will also be completed sometime late summer, early fall. So very excited about those road completions coming up very soon. And in addition, the Route 206 bypass project is continuing to move along. There's been some road paving work. The traffic signal installation and Hamilton Road Bridge is on track. The jug handle at Triangle Road is also underway, and the township has requested a sidewalk modification which will enhance pedestrian safety and access to the shopping center. The sidewalk will be located on the south side of the intersection for better alignment and safety. And the completion of the bypass is still slated for the early part of 2020. So we'll be providing additional updates on that as we get into the fall of this year. I know everyone's looking forward to having that done as much as we are. On Thursday, August the 15th, from 1 to 3 p.m., Affinity Federal Credit Union, they'll have their representatives here at the township to host a community day, which will share their new student loan refinance product and also membership information for Affinity Credit Union. Additionally, beginning on August the 16th, the township will open the fall grant applications for nonprofits serving our youth and seniors that they can apply for funding through the Hillsborough Rewards credit card, which is offered through Affinity Credit Union as well. See more CRE News this week for more information. We're getting ready to kick off our second annual restaurant week. That will be next week, starting on the 20th. We have over 35 food establishments participating this year. We'll have a full listing in this week's e-news. Be sure to share your pictures with us as you make your way around town at participating restaurants. I know a number of the Township Committee will be visiting as many of the restaurants as possible next week. They'll all be providing some type of special or service so you can go and try some of the great food that we have here in Hillsborough. A quick save the date. We're going to have our annual community night at the New Jersey Devils. That's going to be on November the 1st. We'll have more details to follow. Mark your calendars, though. But we will do it in conjunction with PBA 205 in support of the officers. And as always, you can stay connected a number of ways. We have our Friday e-newsletter and our Twitter feed, TV 29 and Hillsborough YouTube channel, which showcases our meetings as well as Hillsborough The Good Life episodes, and Hillsborough alerts for traffic and emergency notifications. So we are going to move on to our proclamations. We ask that after you receive your proclamation, if you could return to your seat till all the proclamations are completed, and we will allow everyone to have an orderly departure at the end of the proclamations. We do have a bit of a lengthy list today, so we appreciate your indulgence as we recognize some of our very worthy recipients tonight. The first event we're going to have tonight, we have, it's a bit of a bittersweet day in Hillsborough. We have a police chief that's retired and one that we'll be bringing on. So we're going to ask Chief Darren Powell, who's retired as of August 1st, to come up and join us for a proclamation. Strange not seeing you in uniform.
It's all right, feels strange.
Now retired Police Chief Darren Powell worked for Hillsborough Township for 25 years. He served in the United States Army from 1984 to 1987, and then in the United States Navy from 1989 to 1993. He obtained his associate's degree in criminal justice and graduated from the FBI National Academy in 2014. Chief Powell began his career in the Hillsborough Police Department Patrol Division in 1994, and then in 1997 was assigned to the Traffic Bureau. In 1999, he was appointed corporal, then promoted to sergeant of the patrol division in 2002. He became the lieutenant of the administrative division commander in 2009, investigative division commander in 2014, acting chief in 2015, and chief of police in 2016. During his tenure, Chief Powell implemented a new radio system which improved system coverage, managed the migration of the in-house dispatch to Somerset County, and organized the No Shave November drive for breast cancer awareness. Under his command, the Hillsborough Police Department was named Courier News Reader's Best Choice Best Of for several years. Chief Powell has received numerous letters of appreciation, award citations, and commendations, and was honored with a Medal of Merit for Hurricane Sandy. The Hillsborough Township Committee and all the municipal employees thank Chief Powell for his service to the Township of Hillsborough and wish him well in all his future endeavors. It has been, I know I speak for all my colleagues on the Township Committee, we had the opportunity, or at least I had the opportunity, when we promoted chief to chief back in 2016. It was an honor to be able to do it then. We've had a tremendous working relationship. He's been a tremendous asset to this community, both as a police officer and in the leadership. And we thank you very much for your service to the community and wish you all the very best in whatever your retirement brings to you.
I'd just like to start out by saying that it's amazing just how fast 25 years went. I vividly remember standing up here 25 years ago being sworn in, and it's just unreal how fast the time went. So all you guys who are just starting out, just remember that. Enjoy it because it goes fast. It is truly a honorable career, and I am just so privileged to have not only served as the chief of police of Hillsborough Township Hillsborough Police Department, but just being a police officer, because that's where the real memories will lie, were my memories as just being a police officer. I'd like to thank the committee. I think we had a great relationship. I'd like to thank all of the Hillsborough Township employees. I think the teamwork that we display with everything we do is one of the things that makes this community truly great. I would like to thank my family, my wife Kathleen, my daughter Courtney. Unfortunately, my younger daughter Amanda could not be here. We'll have to show her the YouTube video later on down the road. And I also would like to thank the men and women of the Hillsborough Township Police Department, because you are what truly makes it great and makes this community the wonderful community that it is. Thank you very much. And I would like to congratulate Mike McMahon for success me as Chief of Police. Good luck, and I'm sure you're going to do a great job.
All right, wait, I gotta say something, because people are like, who's this guy? You guys know me, I'm the prosecutor of the county, and I try to show up to every town event, especially promotions, retirements. I have the pleasure, or depending on the day, the displeasure of working with every chief in the county. But in all seriousness, my whole career I've been a prosecutor, and I got appointed this job in 2016, and I've been honored to work with a lot of great men and women, both federal and state and municipal. But I have to say, I'm not supposed to have favorites, but Darren, Chief Powell, was one of my favorites. So I just want to say to you, congratulations on a successful career. I will really miss you, and hopefully we'll see you at some of these other events that we host throughout the year. So congrats.
Yeah, the Day gets a little sadder as we move forward. We have another retirement from our police force, Lieutenant Michael Fitzpatrick. Whereas Lieutenant Michael Fitzpatrick worked for Hillsborough Township Police Department for 25 years. He holds a bachelor's degree in political science, criminal justice, a master's degree in political science, and has completed numerous supervision and executive leadership training courses. He began his career as a police officer in the Patrol Division in 1994. He was assigned to the Community Policing Unit as a DARE officer in 1997 and to the Investigative Division in 1998. In 1998, he also served on the Somerset County Narcotics Task Force. He was promoted to sergeant in 2007 and then to lieutenant and services division commander in 2016. Lieutenant Fitzpatrick has received numerous letters of appreciation, awards, citations, commendations during his tenure. The Hillsborough Township Committee and all the municipal employees thank Lieutenant Michael Fitzpatrick for his service to the Township of Hillsborough, and we wish him well in all his future endeavors. We've been truly blessed with a tremendous police force here. Lieutenant Fitzpatrick helps to exemplify the incredible work that our police department does. 25 years of service to this community is a tremendous accomplishment, a very distinguished career. We will miss you, but we wish you all the best in your retirement.
I'd like to say they clearly saved the best cop for last, so thank you. In all honesty, I'd like to thank my wife and children for their love and support. It takes more than one person to get you through this career. My family here, my brothers and sisters blue back there. It doesn't get any better than this, so I am beyond blessed. It's an absolute life's honor to serve here, so thank you very much.
There you go. Watch out.
Okay, our next proclamation is for Indian Independence Day. Come forward. So India obtained its independence from the United Kingdom on August 15th of 1947. Independence Day for India is annually celebrated, and 2019 will mark the 73rd celebration of Indian independence. Celebrations include tributes to leaders of the Indian independence movement, flag and lighting ceremonies, and numerous cultural programs. Hillsborough Township is dedicated to fostering acceptance of all its citizens. Our community is strengthened by and thrives upon the rich diversity of ethnic and cultural identities of its residents, all of which contribute to the vibrant character of our township. The Hillsborough Township Committee recognizes August 15th as Indian Independence Day, congratulates the Maharaja Club upon their upcoming celebration, which will be here at the Municipal Building on August 24th, and urges all the residents to wish the Indian community well as they observe their Indian Independence Day. Thank you.
Wow, I'm nervous, and I'm glad, and with thanks to committee people, Mr. Mayor, Pamela, Anthony, who really recognize as a community today. And we all community very happy to receive this badge, and we all invite you today on August 24th. Please come and celebrate with us. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Okay. Can I have Ariella Francino come on up? No, come on up, please. That's a family event. Ariella Francino, a graduate of Hillsborough High School and soon-to-be freshman at the University of South Carolina, has earned her Gold Award. Her Gold Award project, known as Smart Art, involved providing the Hillsborough Senior Center with a sustainable art program, including 4 art classes during the summer. Ariella held an art supplies drive to inform the community about the project. The project took over 80 hours to plan and execute. She has been the Hillsborough High School yearbook activities editor. She's volunteered through Girl Scouts and Hillsborough High School Reach Senior Internship Program at the Zarapath Health Center. The Hillsborough Township Committee recognizes and extends our sincere congratulations to Ariella for having earned her Girl Scout Gold Award, an honor for both her and for those who have guided her, and we wish her all the best in her future. Good luck in South Carolina, and thank you for your service to the community.
I'd like to thank the mayor and the township committee for considering me for this, as well as my friends and fellow volunteers down at the Hillsborough Senior Center who helped execute my project, as well as the Girl Scout committee, who also led me through this process and helped guide me along the way.
Can I have Grace Giordano come on? Grace Giordano, a senior at Hillsborough High School and a member of Girl Scout Troop 60365, has also earned her Gold Award. Grace's Gold Award project involved collaborating with the Human Resources staff at the Parker Life Senior Living Facility to improve the relationships between residents and caregiver staff through filmed personal interviews of staff members. Upon learning about the staff's personal lives and interests, the residents found a deeper connection and respect for their caregivers. The project took over 100 hours to complete. Grace is a member of the National Honor Society, the Art Club, and she volunteers as a prep instructor for Catholic education classes at the Catholic Church of St. Anne. She's volunteered through the Girl Scouts and at the Catholic Church of St. Anne Festa. The Hillsborough Township Committee recognizes and extends our sincere congratulations to Grace for having earned her Girl Scout Gold Award, an honor for both her and for those who have guided her, and we wish her the best in all her future endeavors. Congratulations. It's a tremendous honor to get your Gold Award, and congratulations.
I just wanted to say thank you to the mayor and the township for congratulating me on my Gold Award.
and for always taking the time to acknowledge Girl Scouts and all the achievements and work we do with the township. And I just want to thank my mom for supporting me throughout my Gold Award, not only as a parent, but as my troop leader. I couldn't have done it without her. Thank you.
Okay, can I have Michael Bazzocco come on up?
Pam.
Michael Bazzocco, a senior at Hillsborough High School and a member of Boy Scout Troop 489, has recently earned the rank of Eagle Scout. Michael's Eagle Scout project consisted of planning, fundraising, and building 8 owl boxes to help decrease the vole population at Greystone Park Psychiatric Hospital and to benefit the horticulture program. The horticulture department is a work program for the patients which teaches them a trade and prepares them for employment upon discharge. The project took over 197 hours with the assistance of 7 leaders and 16 scouts. Michael served as the patrol leader, a chaplain aide, and Order of the Arrow troop representative. He is currently a co-patrol leader with his brother leading a patrol of new scouts. Michael is a member of the Hillsborough High School volleyball team that won the 2019 Skyline Conference Championship. He also participates in the high school musicals and choir and is a second-degree black belt and instructor at his Taekwondo school. The Hillsborough Township Committee recognizes and extends our sincere congratulations to Michael for having achieved the rank of Eagle Scout, an honor for both him and for those who have guided him, with best wishes for a great future.
I would like to just take a quick second to thank my family, because I wouldn't have been able to get this great accomplishment without their support throughout my scouting career. I would also like to thank the mayor and the committee for providing me with this opportunity for a proclamation. So, thank you.
And can I have Stephen Bazzocco come up? Stephen Bazzocco is a former Hillsborough High School student and now a rising senior at Westlake High School in California. He is a member of Boy Scout Troop 489 and recently earned the rank of Eagle Scout. Stephen's Eagle Scout project consisted of planning and building 6 fishing rod holders for Ann Van Ellsworth Park. A safety issue existed during fishing season, whereas individuals would leave their rods on the ground, causing tripping hazards and potential injury. The project was completed in 146 hours with the assistance of 12 scouts and 7 adult leaders. Stephen served as troop guide, scribe, and patrol leader. He was a member of the Hillsborough High School junior varsity lacrosse team, a scholar athlete, and a member of the Westlake High School varsity lacrosse team. He has also performed in several Hillsborough High School district theater productions, including Seussical and The Curious Savage, as well as wrote and directed a short play for Hillsborough Shorts. The Hillsborough Township Committee recognizes and extends our sincere congratulations to Stephen for having achieved the rank of Eagle Scout, an honor for both him and for those who have guided him, with best wishes for a great future.
I I would just like to thank the mayor and the committee for recognizing my achievement. I'm very proud of it. I'd also like to thank my parents for supporting me and my whole family as well. I'd also like to extend a special thank you to Mrs. Borick and Mr. Wagner. Without them, none of the things I would have done would have been possible for my Eagle Scout project. So, thank you.
Okay, we have one more presentation this evening. Just before we get to that one, I just want to acknowledge again the Girl Scout Gold Awards and the Eagle Scout projects. One of the things I'm constantly amazed at here in Hillsborough is how many incredible young people we have. That the number of Eagle Scout and Girl Scout Gold Awards that we're able to recognize is truly staggering. And it just goes to show what an incredible community we have and what great young people we have here in the community. So congratulations to you all. Earlier today, we had one of our police our police chief and a lieutenant retire. We also now have the honor of calling up Mike McMahon, who will be our new chief of police, and we get the honor of swearing him in. You can tell he's done this a couple times. He already knows to raise his right hand. All right.
I, Mike McMahon, do solemnly swear
That I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith
and I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same
and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
So help me God.
So help me God.
I do further solemnly swear
I do further solemnly swear
that I will impartially
that I will impartially
and justly perform
all the duties
of police chief
of police chief
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Chief. It's always an honor to be able to bring on a new chief and swear it in. As serving as the mayor, it's really one of the great honors we get to do. Our Hillsborough Police Department is continuously recognized as one of the best in the state, and it's because of the great work of the people that we have that are in the police department. And I know what an honor it is to be able to lead these great men and women that we have in our police department. Congratulations. I look forward to working with you, and I know you're going to be great at this.
thank you for the kind words, Mayor. I just want to thank you and the rest of the council for putting your support behind me and your confidence to lead this department going forward. I look forward to working with you all. It's a very proud moment, obviously, to be named Chief of Police. Huge moment in my career. I couldn't do it without the men and women of the Hillsborough Police Department that are here that do the hard work of this job every day. And I look forward to working with you all. I think together we're going to do great things. And I look forward to serving the community in my new position. Thank you.
Yes. All right, I did lie. We have one more presentation to move forward with. We have a presentation tonight from the RC Adams. Adams RC.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, ladies and gentlemen of the committee. That's going to be a tough act to follow, all the retirements and awards and everything. My name's Andrew Walters. I am the president of Adams RCers. We're a model aircraft club based here in Hillsborough. We meet every third Friday here in the multi-purpose room. We are an Academy of Model Aeronautics chartered club. We fly model airplanes, gas, electric, all that kind of fun stuff. We are privileged to be allowed by the borough to hold our annual swap meet here. And as part of that, we would like to give back to the community, in particular the Community Assistance Network, the food bank here, a token of our appreciation. So we'd like to present a check to the community network for the amount of $250. So.
So the Community Assistance Network is essentially what used to be our food bank. We are always grateful for support for the Community Assistance Network. You'd be surprised. Sometimes we recognize how blessed we are in a community like this. And no matter how blessed we are, there's always those that could use some support. So the donations such as this go a long way to helping those in our community that could really use some support. So thank you very much for that. We appreciate it.
Keep flying.
Okay. That does conclude our proclamations for this evening. Congratulations and thank you to all of our recipients this evening. We will take a short break. If you would like to leave, we'll give you an opportunity to do that. You are always welcome to stay. We'd love to have you, but we recognize it's evening's getting late. So we'll take a quick break and we'll reconvene the meeting in just a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Very
Okay,
I
we
imagine
are
that happened.
reconvening our meeting. We'll move on to, we don't have any new business on the agenda this evening, so we'll move to public comment on new business and matters that are not on tonight's agenda. If anyone has a comment on something that's not on tonight's agenda, now's the time to come forward. Is that it?
Meryl Bisberg, 4 Hickory Hill Road. There's a Facebook page that came online recently called Education Above Politics that bears the township seal. Have all the members of the township committee endorsed this site and all of its content, or have you as mayor endorsed this site?
It's not a site that I don't believe we've endorsed at all. I don't think it's our site. Is that?
No.
Yeah.
May I, Mayor? May I?
Yes.
There's quite a few sites that will take the seal off of, you know, our homepage or whatever and use them, and unfortunately, we can't do anything about that. But no, that is not a site that is
Not a
sponsored from
sanctioned
the
site.
township.
By the
Okay.
township.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else on matters not on the agenda?
Michelle Kidd, 632 Robin Road. I wanted to follow up and find out what is being done by the committee to help protect the Jewish community after what was posted. I understand that it had been turned over to the prosecutor's office, but what is being done on this level to help me make sure that my kids are safe when they go to school in a few weeks?
So, we had it investigated. It was, for those that, may not be aware, there was a flyer that was posted on the bulletin, on the, one of the doors at the municipal building here. Essentially a Holocaust denial flyer. We have done our investigation, the police department has. I think at this point, the investigation's closed, did go up to the prosecutor's office as well. I don't believe that, we believe there's a threat associated with that, but we do have our police on alert to be sure that if they suspect anything else, or if they're starting to get any other sense of anything in the community, that we're in a position to be able to react to it.
I really hope that there's something in place, a plan that this is actually being monitored. It's terrifying. I mean, this is not the first time this has been posted in town. There was one also posted up in the Saralyn Mountains previously, so it's increasing in frequency.
Understand your concern.
I appreciate your work in keeping us safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Remember, it's on matters not on the agenda.
Maria Janusik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey, and Hillsborough Township property owner, Block 86, Lot 3, 2155 Camp Road. Who is the township attorney for Hillsborough?
Depends, for the municipal, the Hillsborough municipal attorney is Mr. Willard.
I'm sorry, who?
Bill Willard, sitting at the dais here.
Bill Willard, and what is the name of the law firm?
I'll ask him to, so I don't miss any of the names. There's a couple of them.
DeFrancesco Bateman.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
DeFrancesco Bateman.
DeFrancesco Bateman?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the law firm of Senator Christopher Kip Bateman?
Yes.
Yes, it is?
Yes.
Okay,
Can you
please
tell me-
address your
can you
comments
tell me?
here, thank you.
Oh, okay, because you said that.
No, I asked him to answer the question.
Okay, is that the law firm of Senator Christopher Kip
It
Bateman?
is, yes.
Yes, okay. Who drafted the ordinances for today's meeting?
Our attorney?
Depends which ordinance.
Yes.
Depends which ordinance?
Yes.
Yes,
Is there one in particular?
There's one regarding Concord Street urban renewal.
That's on the agenda,
That is
so
on
we'll
the
talk about
agenda,
that
and
when
so
we get to
who-
that point.
Who is the attorney who drafted that ordinance?
That's on the agenda, so when we have the agenda point, you can ask that question.
I can ask those
Yes.
questions. Okay, so any questions pertaining to Concord Street urban renewal will be answered. It doesn't matter what.
Well, you can ask the
as long
question.
as it's-
Yeah, we've answered your questions before. You don't seem to accept the answer, so I'll try to answer it, but you don't seem to be willing to take it.
You see, I haven't even asked the questions, and you're already saying that I have asked questions. Okay, as long as there will be, I can ask questions regarding Concord Street and regarding Block 86, Lot 21, then I will wait until that ordinance comes up.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else for matters not on the agenda? Okay, we're going to move to public hearings. First matter is 2019-12, which is an ordinance of the Township Committee of the Township of Hillsborough granting a long-term tax abatement to Concord Street Urban Renewal Associates LP for a residential affordable housing project on the property described herein and authorizing the mayor to sign a financial agreement with Concord Street Urban Renewal Associates LP. As indicated when this was introduced, this ordinance will grant a long-term tax abatement to Concord Street Urban Renewal Associates to support the development of the Phase 1 affordable housing project on what's known as the Sherman Tract. The tax abatement is one part of the financing that includes funding from the New Jersey Housing and Mortgage Finance Agency, the Federal Home Loan Bank of New York, and the Township's Affordable Housing Trust Fund. The details of the tax abatement are provided in a financial agreement to be executed between the Township and Concord. As we noted earlier, the agreement is a 30-year agreement. May I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 2019-12?
So move, Mayor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there any discussion from the dais? Any comments from the floor?
Jane Stats, 101 Devonshire Court, and I'm also on the Board of Ed, but I'm just speaking on my own behalf, not on behalf of the board. I just want to, first of all, thank you for addressing the affordable housing needs, and especially with it being, this is 100% affordable housing, right?
That's correct.
So I appreciate how that is less of an impact as opposed to when you have the, the market rate accompanying it, with like, what is the ratio of like 1 to 4 or something?
Yeah, 20% set aside usually.
So that minimizes the impact on our township. So as we all know, we have such a growing developments in town, so I appreciate that. Now, with the tax abatement, what I'm concerned about is with a pilot, are you planning on having any part of that being given to the school district?
Don't know yet.
Well, I'd like to encourage you to, just to be fair, especially
fair.
because there will be an impact to the school size, the number of students.
Sure.
Above and beyond what I think the official amount is. I think, was it 22 students they're, I think, expecting? I think it'll probably be more than that.
Yeah, there's calculations that are basically the standard that get used by, they're provided by Rutgers, so there's a formula that gets used, and that's, at least it standardizes. It could be more, it could be less, but that's
All right.
basically
Well,
how that economic impact is calculated.
Especially because I think there's 70-some 2- and 3-bedroom units. Chances are
Yeah.
each of them will have at least one child. But anyway.
But it's school age, so some of them may
Right,
be younger,
I understand,
below school age, yeah.
But, so just to, especially since it's, 65% of the taxes are, go to the schools. So if you could consider having that, just to be fair and consistent, and to help us address the impact that those students will have on our district.
Yeah,
So
it's a
thank
fair
you.
comment. We haven't made that decision yet. That's not something we need to address at this point. This is simply to put the agreement in place so that the developers know that they can go forward with the funding for it. But your point is noted. We'll take it under advisement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there, Mayor.
Hi.
Jean Trujillo, 5 Eric Court. I'm also a member of the Board of Education, but I'm here speaking tonight on my own behalf as a community member. So my question is, I read through the ordinance 2019-12, the multiple pages, and I looked for, well, I guess the question is, tonight you're voting on ordinance 2019-12?
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
Mhm.
So in the ordinance, there is multiple, in the financial agreement, there is no mention of a percentage to the Board of Education. The only percentage of payment, and maybe so let me refer to page 8, 4.11, percentage of, I assume it's annual, there's maybe a small typo, annual service charge paid to the county of 5%. That's the only, I guess, distribution that I can find in this ordinance. There's no discussion of Board of Education, I'm a little confused if you had said that you haven't decided if the Board of Education would receive a percentage of the pilot agreement, or can that be modified tonight, I guess is the question?
The agreement doesn't necessarily dictate, what we're doing tonight doesn't necessarily dictate ultimately how the funds that come into the municipality will get distributed within the tax levies that we have here in town. It's more of to put the mechanism in place so a developer can move forward with their funding plan and be able to complete their building.
Okay, so then I guess I don't understand what the ordinance is or the financial agreement, because the pilot that's listed here, it talks about annual service charge. That's not the pilot agreement?
That is.
That is, okay.
But that's a service charge that they pay to
So
us
that
in lieu
is-
of their tax payment.
Got it, okay.
Yeah.
So then, on 4.11, it says that upon receipt, the township shall remit 5% of the annual service charge that it collects to Somerset County pursuant to the state statute. But the Board of Education is not listed in here, so if you approve this tonight, then the only sharing of the payment in lieu of taxes would go to the county and not to the Board of Education.
Mayor?
Is that incorrect?
Mayor,
Go ahead.
the financial agreement and the ordinance mirror the statute for the long-term exemption law. That's what the long-term exemption law provides.
Okay, so the law does not require.
Yeah.
That's
think
what the
what he said-
long-term exemption law states, exactly that, 5%.
Right, okay.
Goes to 95% goes to the municipality, 5% goes to the county.
So it does not require
That's what the
any.
law says.
Correct, okay.
You would need to get that changed.
So there are several boards of education. The Hillsborough Township Board of Education was one of them. On our April 8th, 2019 meeting, we passed a resolution unanimously that, and I'll just read parts of it. It
Is this
says
in
that.
reference to the ordinance?
This is in reference to the
Okay.
ordinance, that we passed a resolution, whereas pilots are in tax abatement, et cetera. I'll skip to the third paragraph, and you have received a copy of this, I believe. Further, the state controller recommended that pilots be structured in a way that encompasses the interests of counties and school districts. Also further, it says that on August 9th, 2018, the New Jersey Economic and Fiscal Policy Work Group report Path to Progress recommends municipalities to split revenue from payments in lieu of taxes among municipalities, school districts, and counties based on current property tax ratios. So if I'm reading the resolution, the ordinance that you're passing tonight, there is no mention of the Board of Education having any split of this payments in lieu of taxes, which, although is part of the law, seems patently unfair to the Board of Education. Thank you.
Ma'am, if I could, that's exactly the path of progress, that's what they were looking at, and they were looking at changing the statute statewide. And I think that's why the Board of Education actually adopted a resolution supporting legislation to change the long-term exemption law to get you a proportionate share.
Right, so we're hoping that tonight, and I'm speaking as a parent and a community member, that the Township Committee would take on its own to modify the ordinance such that the Board of Education would receive a portion of the payment in lieu of taxes. So I would hope that the committee members who are on the dais tonight would debate that, whether or not.
Wouldn't that require a change in the long-term exemption law?
I don't think so, because it does, I believe, let's see. On August 18, 2010, the New Jersey State Comptroller issued a report detailing the use of pilots. He or she, the State Comptroller, recommended that counties, school districts, and the public should assume greater roles in the abatement process. You are absolutely correct that the law states a certain thing, but it does not preclude the Township Committee from voluntarily splitting the payments in lieu of taxes with the Board of Education.
I think what you're talking about is something that the controller's talking about and the path to progress is talking about, and they're talking about changing the long-term exemption law, but that legislation has yet to pass.
That's correct, and so if you vote tonight, that's 30 years that the Board of Education will not have.
No, that's not true. That doesn't preclude us from from changing that, or as we move forward, providing some change to that distribution, but we have not made that decision today. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to negotiate it in the middle of a meeting with you.
Absolutely.
If that's something that we need to talk about, we're going to, we'll coordinate and have a meeting with the Board of Ed representatives and figure out how we could put that in place.
I'm just concerned that tonight, if you vote on this ordinance without that provision, that there is no opportunity for the Board of Education to receive a portion of the payments in lieu of tax.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
Also, keep in mind, this is an affordable housing pilot program, which is directed by the state.
Right,
We
but
don't make it up. It comes directly from the state law.
absolutely. I
So
understand.
affordable housing has a different element. So as the mayor had stated, we will have further discussion, but it won't be right now.
Right, okay, and I understand. Thank you very much. I just don't want the Board of Education to be left out of this agreement. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, my name is Judy Haas. I'm the president of the Board of Education, and for the moment, I will be addressing the board as the president of the Board of Education. I had attended the July 25th planning board
Judy,
meeting.
can you pick that up just a little bit so you can,
Okay.
yeah, there
I
you go.
had attended the July 25th planning board meeting to discuss a response to the community impact statement, which basically said that our school system would readily absorb any additional students that would be coming in as a result of this project. We had a professional demographer do enrollment projections for the school in relation to our potential building needs, and he wrote a letter for us, which I'd like to share. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but basically the most important points that he's making here is that from 2013 to 2018, there was a 242 student increase, which is a 3.25% increase. The 5-year projection indicates a further increase of 5.7%, or 445 students. Those numbers do not include any projected development. We have been through, I think, 4 or 5 project hearings here before, which could generate, I think there are over 600 units in those 4 developments: Mountain View Road, former Stop and Shop, below Bottle King on Route 206, and what was the third one? Amwell Road, opposite Avalon. I don't know what these developments are called, but those are the locations for about 600 new units, which will probably generate several hundred additional children. Basically, taking those numbers just based on enrollment history, plus the fact that most of our schools are operating beyond capacity as it is now, is a tremendous problem for the school district. Yes, we always have to accept school children. We wouldn't want it any other way, but it's not without impact. Due to the failed referendum, we're now looking at increasing class sizes, despite the fact that it's the last thing any of us want to do. And we have a real problem with that. We need to be able to add to our capacity in the schools, and we need support in terms of being able to do that. When we did the first referendum, one of our goals was for a full-day kindergarten program. Despite the fact that the community turned that down, we may be mandated to do that at some point in the near future. That is a program that 90% of the school districts in the town already have. That would also add several hundred additional children to our school system. So, yes, as my colleagues spoke before, I would be very much in favor of a sharing of the pilot the pilot proceeds, because if that was not abated taxation, we would be getting 66% of that. And that's a very important thing in residential housing, because residential housing sends children to the school. And I recognize very much that you all have impacts as well that have to be, that have to be dealt with. Police, fire, everything else that you pay for. but the schools are a very big item. Educating children is very expensive, and we here in Hillsborough try to do a really good job at it. And we get children of all different statuses and all different abilities, and we try to make every single one of them soar. And in order to do that, it requires funding. So I also join my colleagues and ask for support in terms of sharing of pilots and any other help that you could give us in terms of being able to support our kids. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll share, Judy, with you the same I told to Gina. I'm more than happy to take some time and sit down. We could have a subcommittee here and meet with representatives from the Board of Education and figure out how we can work through budgeting issues on both sides. So
Very glad
happy
hear that,
to do
because
that.
I spoke about that at the planning board meeting,
Yeah.
that we should get together and we should resolve these issues. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Judy.
Mayor, if I may make one quick.
Sure.
Judy, if you have those numbers that you can share with, now that I'm the liaison, with ourselves, because we are all in the same boat. You know, we all understand the impacts of affordable housing and how it grows our community and how we're all going to be impacted on that, and we're going to have to deal with that. Unfortunately, the state has required us that we have to have affordable housing, and I think the Township Committee has done a wonderful job, along with our staff members and our attorneys as well, to try and minimize the impact to the best of our ability, which is why we have these full unit affordable housing units. It does cut down on some of the units that are required of us. We don't have our final numbers yet, so I'm not quite sure how the calculations would roll out, what you have, but I would like to see those numbers as well, and we can certainly have that discussion moving forward.
Obviously, I have no problem sharing those
Thank
numbers,
you. It would
public
be helpful.
information.
Okay.
But I did hear somewhere that there were going to be like 5 more developments before we're finished.
I don't know.
Well, it depends on
We
what our
haven't
final
approved that
numbers
yet.
are. If the point is
that still
affordable
an
housing is
open item?
choking us to death, I agree with you.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I said, if your point is the affordable housing requirements are choking us to death, I agree with you. We need to, it is what it is. It's something that we have to deal with. We don't know the number yet. But it's not going to be insignificant, whatever it is.
Oh, I know that.
So,
It's pretty significant already.
yeah. So we're happy to sit down and talk to you more.
Yeah, I mean, we should be working together to mitigate impacts for all of us. And, you know, whatever information I could provide, I'm happy to do that. I'm personally not against affordable housing. I think, you know, communities should have a mix of housing. But, you know, when you have a lot of people moving into town, and you have one of the better school systems in the area, chances are they come from a place where the schools aren't as good. And that's why people move. They move for the school system. And when people move into town and they haven't gotten to the grade levels that we expect in our grade levels, there's a lot of remediation involved. There's a lot of extra services in addition to the classroom teachers, and that comes at a cost. And, you know, again, same argument. But again, thank you very much for your assistance.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Judy.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
Mayor, so if we're voting on this tonight, because, you know, we need this affordable housing, we're not committing, by voting for this, we're not committing not to give a percentage to the school. It will be something that we'll discuss at a later date.
Correct. There's no requirement for or against that, the amount that would be, that we're obligated or willing to share with the schools. It's something we have to talk about. We will get together with the Board of Education and discuss that, but it's not going to be decided tonight.
That's good. Okay,
Yeah.
because I do know you support our schools, as we all do. We're one of the best places to live in America, and part of that is a school. And just really quick, when I had my first child and he was a kindergarten age, we bought a house sight unseen just to get into a particular school system because they had the best one in the area. It was before this time, but people do take it seriously. If a town has a good school, a town thrives. So I know the board
Agree.
will support that.
evening. Ann Harris, 25 Beverly Drive,
Hi, Ann.
here in Hillsborough. One of the best places to live in America, and that's why I'm still here. However, I do have a bit of a concern. The first thing that was popped out at me is this is an urban renewal associate company. And not that I have anything about Urban Renewal Associates, but I had a thought that popped into my mind. Since we are a township now that is 54 square miles, and we have, I understand, to do these abatements when we're getting state mandates and we're getting federal mandates for affordable housing, which I'm in favor of affordable housing, I was trying to think of a way to make our community more sustainable. And when we're having children who are losing out on courtesy busing because we are strapped for funding, I was wondering if maybe some of these urban renewal associates would be thinking of doing something perhaps like an electric bus service, that we could have maybe some sustainable transportation for families in the area who need to be transported from one end of town. You can't walk 54 square miles very easily. So I'm hoping that in a future plan, when you're working with the Board of Ed to work with the idea about how we fund all of this for our children, you'll also consider some things that need to be done just for our whole community so that we can all get through the corridor of 206 and we can be on our way in a happy way. And I want to thank you for agreeing tonight that we do need to meet as a group and plan things. One of the things that I did when I was a teacher in town is we did community planning and we did little cereal box places of how Hillsborough would look in 10 years or 20 years. And it was amazing the insights those children had into why we couldn't do this here or there because it would obstruct traffic or, so I think.
Future planners is what you're saying?
Yes, hopefully we'll have some future planners come. But thank you, and I hope we get together soon because the long-term effects of this in a 30-year plan that I read about this is not an easy one to swallow.
Yeah, look, the reality of it is there's no way to effectively complete 100% affordable development without putting it under the abatement program. It just doesn't work. So you're either sacrificing the ability to meet your affordable housing obligation or the ability of them to actually have it built. You can't do both. So it's just the reality of having that 100%. There's no profit margin in it. You know, on a market rate unit, they're operating to build it so that it can be affordable. And so there's a program that's why the program's in place to allow for the abatement process, or else no one would build 100% affordable. It just wouldn't happen.
Hopefully they'll think sustainable when they're building. Thank you.
You're welcome.
If I could just add on the sustainability issue, this project will be a LEED Silver certified project.
Oh, thank you, yeah.
I was going to say that, but I wasn't sure.
And I don't know if you heard that? Okay, yeah.
Joseph P. Maloney, 27 Stonewood Drive, Hillsborough, New Jersey, the best place to live in America.
Everyone keeps saying
I just wish it was the best place to do business in America, because what I've been hearing is we have a revenue problem. There's not enough revenue to support our schools. Affordable housing is not going away. I know we're in round 3. 2015 to 2025 is round 3. We have to make our affordable housing number by 2025. My concern as a 31-year resident is I want to die here. I want to live here for the rest of my life. There is nothing precluding fair share housing coming back in 2025, as they're doing in Middletown Township today, and saying, well, you did a good job in round 3, but we're developing and you owe us more. You owe us more you owe us more affordable housing. From what I've been hearing, there's not a single person here that's against that.
That's not true.
I'm for it. I want a growing community, but I want the tax ratables to support that community. 2003, a young man moved here, brought his young family, basically came here for the bucolic, the rural life, the fact that we had good schools, and his family is still here to this day. He was interviewed by the New York Times. He's our mayor.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. And he
Right
still
after I
is.
moved here.
Yes.
I always tell people that I was quoted in the New York Times, it had nothing to do with this.
And no one reads the Times anymore, Frank. My point here is, we have a great community. We need to plan, not only for today, but for the future. Since we've been here, we need tax ratables. We need to draw business into this community in order to make it grow and prosper. We're at the crossroads here. Seen this happen in a dozen other towns throughout our state. We need to get our act together. The master plan is a good one. Our planning is okay, but we got to take it to the next level. We need to get Fortune 500 companies, Russell 3000 companies, anything short of a nuclear power plant in this town yesterday to support what we have.
Do you have any in mind? Because we're welcome to talk to them.
Let's go here.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a community effort. I'm not pointing out the board. We're 40,000 strong. We should have 40,000 salesmen out there selling our town to have the ratables that we need in order to
We're still in
support
public
it.
hearing.
Not only that, I would hold our business advocate ruthlessly accountable for not interviewing people and interviewing corporations and anyone that wants to come in here. And yes, we have land to do this. We have land to do it, and yes, we can zone properly to do it.
Okay, two things. One, you're taking the premise that we're not actively out there ruthlessly talking to people. I can assure you we're pretty aggressive in
Frank,
that process.
Let me tell you something, Frank.
No.
Knowing you a long time, this is a results-oriented business, okay? I know that, and it's not easy. I know that too. But we need to do something yesterday.
Yeah, and part of that is the planning that has to be in place first. There has to be infrastructure that allows those businesses to be here. We've had a program that's been sitting in Trenton since 1972 that finally, within the next 9 months, is going to be completed. Will it be the panacea to everything? It will not. Will it absolutely help the ability to draw people to say, you know what, you don't have to worry about 206 anymore? Yes, and that's part of what we've been trying to do to get the bypass done so that we can drive some of that ratable growth. It doesn't happen because we just say, we want you here. There has to be the ability to drive the infrastructure that allows it to happen.
Wholly understood.
With that said, though, we're still in public hearing under an ordinance, and
Yes.
this
And
is
I
only...
apologize, but
Thanks.
I got upset listening to squabbling over
We hear you.
basically $60,000 worth of revenue annually.
Yeah.
And this is a good project. This is a very good project. RPM, AKA Urban Concord Urban Renewals, did an outstanding job planning this. David Maskey did an outstanding job, and the planning board did an outstanding job making this happen. So you should be commended for that.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Maria Janusik, 720 East Freck Avenue, Manville, New Jersey. Hillsborough property owner, Block 86, Lot 3. My property directly adjoins Block 86, Lot 21, and I had received via certified mail return receipt requested a flyer that was titled Legal Notice, and it states that RPM Development LLC is the applicant for the Sherman Tract for Block 86, Lot 21, and also the application before the planning board states that RPM Development LLC is the applicant, as well as the application to the New Jersey Department of Environmental Protection, Division of Land Use Regulation, shows that RPM Development is the applicant, and for the letter of interpretation regarding the freshwater wetlands on Block 86, it's also RPM. So now, why is ordinance 2019-12 saying that Concord Street Urban Renewal Associates are looking for a 30-year tax abatement?
So, as I said earlier, I give you answers and you don't necessarily want to accept them.
I'm sorry,
Let me answer you.
But
You
why
asked
do
a question.
why do you preface that with
Because
saying
I'm
that I don't want?
I'm going to get
asking
there.
a
Because you
question.
asked the same question at the
No,
planning
no,
board.
no.
And I'll give you the same answer I gave you there, or that you received there. I'll say it correctly. Concord Street Urban Renewal Associates LP is a subsidiary under RPM. They set up individual limited partnerships for each development under the large corporate umbrella. And that's how development processes tend to work from a legal structuring standpoint. So there's,
So where is that on any of the applications that Concord Street Urban Renewal is affiliated or the parent company or whatever of RPM Development?
that will be all part of the legal documentation as we move forward. But the application is with RPM and the LP that they're forming to drive and own this development.
Okay, so this is all verbal, but where is it in the records? Who is the attorney representing Concord?
The attorney that was at the planning board, and
Who was that?
I think it might have been Michael Grodnick from.
Michael O'Grodnick, thank you, Mr. O'Grodnick, yes, correct.
Is the attorney
from
for Concord?
Correct.
Concord Street Urban
Mhm.
Renewal? But why is there not a single record when every application says RPM? Why isn't it showing that there is some kind of relationship
So
between
what,
the two?
can I ask what is the insinuation? Is there something, do you believe there's some type of fraudulent activity that's I don't understand where you're going.
I am asking a question of
but
why is there one company throughout every application, and now you're looking to give a 30-year tax abatement to Concord, where there's not a single
because
record
Concord will
on any of
own
the
the development.
applications? I'm sorry, what?
Because Concord is the developer, will own the development.
And because under the long-term exemption law, the applicant is then required to form an urban renewal entity. The long-term exemption law requires them to form such an entity.
So it's requiring who to create that entity or form that entity?
Whoever's going to get the
developer.
tax abatement under the long-term exemption law.
You
So
know,
that's what RPM did. They went out and formed an urban renewal entity under the long-term exemption law to comply with the statute.
Does it say that in this ordinance?
Doesn't have to.
It won't
Doesn't
say
have
that in the ordinance, likely, no.
Okay, so I forgot to ask, who drafted ordinance 2019-12?
That would probably been Mr. Burns.
I believe it was Mr. Bernstein, correct.
Mr. Bernstein. So.
Because he's our Affordable Housing Council.
So he did this, he did this because he's drafted this because he's the Affordable Council attorney?
He's our Affordable Housing Attorney, correct.
All right, so ordinances, depending, because I think based on the contract with the township attorney, aren't ordinances and resolutions a part of the job description for the township attorney?
For certain. The affordable housing ones are under the jurisdiction of the Affordable Housing Attorney.
So Eric Bernstein this year is the Affordable Housing?
It's always been.
Correct.
Okay.
Forever.
Now, Block 86, Lot 21, wasn't that designated as an area in need of rehabilitation?
Yes, as we've discussed multiple times as well.
Okay. as I said, this property directly adjoins
I
my
understand.
property. There are no structures, there's nothing built on Block 86, Lot 21. So, and I believe there are no sewers either. So how did that qualify as an area in need of rehabilitation?
Ms. Shadzik, I'm not going to answer that question. We've answered it multiple
No,
times,
no.
and it's not subject to the ordinance that we're talking about. This is the financial
Then I
tax
haven't-
abatement issue,
Then I had
and I'm
stated-
sorry, we've had this conversation, and
I had
you've
stated-
answered this
I had stated
question.
that I would like to ask questions prior to, and you said that I would be able to ask questions
Related to the
regarding
ordinance, that's
Block 86,
correct.
Lot
Yep.
21. And now you're saying that it's only related to the ordinance.
Correct.
What is the zone right now of Block 86, Lot 21?
I don't recall.
Okay. In the Sherman redevelopment plan, it states that the zone is I-1 light industrial. So how do you build residential properties on a
Because
property
it was
that's
rezoned
zoned?
as part of the rehabilitation
It was
plan.
rezoned.
And you
So-
know that as well.
So what is the zone right now, then?
I forget what the zone was called, Mr.
It's the
Maskey.
Sherman Rehabilitation
Thank you.
Area Zone.
And so that was a change in the zone?
This was done several months ago, Mayor.
Yeah.
This-
Okay,
The
there was a
plan was
change in the
adopted.
zone.
Correct.
So, and that was done by ordinance, what was it, 201903? Now, when you change a zone, don't you have to notify adjacent or property owners that are within 200 feet? When there's a zone change, so that you could have a public hearing and that property owners who are going to be impacted?
Not when you
can
do it through a
come?
redevelopment plan.
Not when you do it with a redevelopment plan?
Correct.
And the redevelopment plan was based on what, the area in need of rehabilitation?
Mayor, this is not germane to the ordinance?
Right.
It's not. So, Ms. Janicek, we have a lot of business to get to, and
Yes.
we've answered all of these questions. And if you would like to, you could go back and look at the planning board video, and everything you're asking now, you asked and was answered. And it's not germane to the topic that we're discussing.
Each time I ask questions, and these are the answers that I get, I don't get answers. I get, oh, you were told this, oh, you asked this already.
You were answered.
Ordinance 201903, I had requested a copy of government records through the Open Public Records Act, and I received a copy of 2019-03 that's signed by Pamela Borick and by you, but it doesn't have any information regarding the date that it was adopted or the date it was published. And also, when a zoning ordinance, when there's a change in a zoning, or a zone change ordinance, that has to be filed with the Somerset County Planning Board. Where are those records and the date of filing?
That sounds vaguely familiar, too. I think we talked about that as well at the
We
planning
talked
board.
about it. I had asked Attorney Bernstein, and he said he thought that there is some ordinance, but he wasn't sure. So that's why I'm asking
Okay.
again now.
So-
Because my property, as a property owner directly adjacent, my property will be severely impacted. So that's why I'm asking questions and I'm requesting answers.
Okay.
So was this ordinance, this zone change ordinance adopted, and when was it published?
I don't know, but I'm sure it's on the municipal website, and we could find that.
This is the answer that I got from Attorney Bernstein. I don't know. Well,
You're asking me to tell you when an ordinance was done that I don't have in front of me that has nothing to do with what we're doing here. So I'm
Yes.
sorry, I don't memorize every ordinance by date.
Attorney Bernstein didn't have an answer either.
Mayor,
So who
if I
has
may,
the answer?
the plan and/or by ordinance was adopted on March 13th, 2019.
There you go.
And so you have a copy of that completed ordinance signed and with the seal of Hillsborough?
I'm sure you can, I'm sure you
So
already
it
have
was-
requested that from the clerk's office.
So you said it was adopted when?
March 13th, 2019.
And then when was it published?
I don't know.
It's by date.
So you don't have a complete ordinance with the zone change?
Maria, we're not addressing that ordinance right now. You're in the middle of a public hearing, so they're trying to be nice to you, but
This-
sincerely, right now, you're in the middle of a public hearing for an ordinance for the finance part of this plan. It has nothing to do with your questions at the moment.
Okay,
So we would like you to be respectful of the fact that we're in the middle of a public hearing
During the
for this
public
particular
portion,
ordinance.
Yes, during the public portion, I was going to ask questions, and I was told by Mayor Delcourt that anything pertaining to Block
Right,
86, Lot
to-
No,
21
I said to
would
the
be
ordinance.
answered during the ordinance.
Correct.
pertaining, I didn't say specific to the ordinance, I said referring to Block 86.
But this is how this
Lot
works, and
21.
we've had this conversation. When we're on an agenda item, you get to talk about the agenda item. You don't get to free-for-all.
So then you
We've had
said-
this conversation
so then
multiple
you
times, and you
didn't-
never
so
want to
then
listen.
you did not allow me to speak during the public portion, and so now you're saying again that I cannot speak. Okay, regarding the,
You have a question on the tax abatement matter.
the what?
You have a question on the tax abatement
I have
matter.
a question on this ordinance. I have a question on this ordinance. Has there been an agreement, so you don't have a financial agreement yet with Concord?
We essentially do, yes. That's what we're approving this evening.
Has any property, any part of Block 86, Lot 21 been sold to Concord Urban Street, to Concord Street Urban Renewal?
No.
No.
No. In this ordinance, it's stating that Block 86, Lot 21, to be known as lots 21.01 and 21.02, will be subdivided through a future subdivision application. Wasn't the RPM Development Group, Development LLC application approved, and part of that approval was subdividing Block 86, Lot 21?
Yes. Correct.
So why is this saying that it's going to be done, that they're going to be
Because
doing
it's not
this?
effectuated. It was approved but not effectuated yet.
Mayor, I have an answer to the
It's saying
publication.
through a future subdivision application. That application was already before the board, and it was approved.
I'm sorry, can you tell me where you are?
In the first paragraph of ordinance 2019-12, about midway down where it's showing to be known as lots 21.01 and 21.02.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
But
I thought you had-
her
I thought you had
answer to
the-
her other question was that when this ordinance was introduced, they hadn't gone to the planning board yet.
Right.
The application
Oh,
hadn't been heard yet.
There we go, sorry. So yes, when the matter was introduced, was this item, this is the public hearing. So the item was introduced prior to the planning board hearing. So before it was approved at the planning board, it was introduced, that's why it references the future subdivision application, has now been approved at the planning board, and if we're able to get on to our business, we'll likely approve it tonight as well.
What was the date that this was before the planning board or introduced or whatever you said, the prior time that this was looked at? What was the date?
At planning board?
Well, I was just told
Or
that...
when it was
that
introduced,
this
the first
was-
meeting in July, whatever that date was. July 9th? July 9th.
Okay, now, paragraph 3 says, whereas the township administrator has recommended that the township committee favorably consider the tax abatement. Is there a reason why the township administrator is noted in this ordinance as having recommended favorably to consider this?
We trust his judgment,
Excuse me?
because we trust his judgment.
Okay, because I see that on the application to the Department of Environmental Protection, Division of Land Use Regulation, on page 2, where it says, signature of the owner, it says Anthony Ferrera, but there's no statement that he's the administrator or whatever, and so I'm wondering, is there any
Is that relevant?
interest?
I'm
Yes.
just curious. It is?
Does Anthony Ferrera have an interest in Concord Street Urban Renewal?
He does not, and I haven't asked him that, but I'm very comfortable saying he does not.
Okay. Why would the administrator sign this Anthony Ferrera without putting his position as the township administrator?
It's probably just a paperwork oversight, but we'll take a look at it for you.
Oversight. Okay. So when will you have any kind of documentation that RPM Development Group has some kind of relationship or is
It'll
whatever
be
it is
part of
with
the legal
Concord?
filings that will occur it'll be part of the legal filings that will occur with the, as we move forward with the documentation.
Okay, so right now you have nothing, you're just going to wait till whenever. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Merrill Bisberg, 4 Hickory Hill Road. I'm quoting from the community impact statement, which was part of the testimony for the application. About the pilot specifically, it says, through a process with the governing body, a payment in lieu of taxes, parentheses pilot, and developers agreement are expected. The specifics of those payment amounts and proportional dollars that will go to the township, school system, and county will be set within that agreement. So it's my understanding, and I mean, I'm assuming from this it's the developer's understanding too, that it needs to be set within that agreement, and I've heard that before. So I don't understand why we can't set it within the agreement. This money is coming from the developer, it's their expectation, and why can't that be done tonight as part of the agreement? And I just want to mention as a footnote, when the ordinance was first posted, it was just the ordinance, which is 3 pages. The financial agreement wasn't included, and so I called the township, and Ms. Borg, added the financial agreement. But there has to be more transparency here. I mean, we shouldn't have to call to get that information. If the financial agreement is referenced in the ordinance, then it should be included. And I think if there's some disconnect between what the developer understands and somehow the law that says that we can't include, for some reason, the schools, then we have to reconcile that, and it's got to be part of the vote tonight. And if it's going to be an up or down vote on the pilot, the recommendation is that it be modified or it be voted down until it's adjusted for this. I think all of you know the kind of situation the schools are in, and the number of people that are coming. And I should probably add that since we were last here, there's even another development that apparently was agreed to with the township, or was contracted with the township informally last year. So,
Which one are you talking
you
about?
are the ones.
Which
this
one are you
is
talking about?
Rosebrook.
No,
Rosebrook.
that's
Okay.
simply not true.
All right. So to the extent that the planning board and the township committee are those who know how many children we're adding to the district, whether it's affordable housing or not, I just think this needs to be acknowledged in cases where it can be, especially where no other taxes are being collected. It's a 30-year agreement we're entering to. We know that at the end of 30 years, or even at the end of 10 years, we're going to have many more students in this school. And I believe it was the developer's expectation that the school system would be considered, and I just think we should live up to that.
Mayor, just one comment.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, just one comment where she said, she suggested you voted down. Looking at this agreement, I strongly suspect that this is going to be, that the developer here is probably applying for federal tax financing
They are.
through
We talked about
HMFA.
that, yeah.
Okay, and those applications are due in September, and this is a major component of it. And if it wasn't included in his package, he probably will get denied.
Yeah.
He won't be a successful applicant, so it would affect the project even being built.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Eva Janney, 6720 East Freck Avenue, Manville. This Sherman tract it's an area of rehabilitation.
Correct.
So I have a copy here of the local redevelopment and housing law, NJSA 40A:12A1. And it says here, rehabilitation area means any area determined to be in need of rehabilitation to eliminate substandard structure or housing conditions and arrest deterioration of that area through the extensive repair, reconstruction, or renovation of existing structures. Does not qualify for the exercise of eminent domain nor long-term tax abatement. So how are they getting a long-term tax abatement?
We went through this multiple times.
With who?
At planning board.
Uh-huh.
We had this discussion about the qualifications.
And how are they qualifying?
I don't recall, I can't give you the chapter and verse, but there's more than just what you're highlighting there within the statute, and there are a number of criteria that allow us to treat it in that manner. And I don't know if Mr. Maskey, you got any specifics there, but I can't, there's more than what you just highlighted, what you just said.
That's only one scenario, is just that building. There are other scenarios that could meet the scenario that we have, and we did. The building structure is not mandatory, it's just one of the choices.
Normal structures aren't.
So I say that's only one of the.
It's not the only
That's not the
criteria.
only criteria, there's multiple criteria that were met. The structure is only one of them
For
that.
rehabilitation, there's nothing there on that land, nothing. There's not even a
It
street
doesn't
there.
require, a vacant property can qualify as an area in need of rehabilitation.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the floor?
Hi, Alicia Faber Bayless. I live on Huff Road, or Lane.
Can you
please
speak into the
microphone,
yeah.
I was just wondering if you could explain the timelines for this, for the pilots, and just, and how much money you expect to get each year?
Timelines, meaning
Just-
when it would
So
start?
right now, we're doing, you're approving an ordinance today. So then, how does it go on from there?
I mean, essentially, it's when the project meets substantial completion is when it starts to generate fee revenue, not taxes, but fee revenue. I believe the percentage of, it's a percentage of the revenue that the apartments will generate. That gets contributed to the municipality, and it's 6.28%. I think at it, we would expect that roughly 4 or 5 years when it's developed is when you'd have full return of the fees, and it's somewhere around $110,000, give or take.
So it might take about 4 to 5 years?
Yeah, it's not
before
immediate.
People
Yeah.
can move in and...
Correct.
start
It's
doing-
when they start to generate revenue from the project.
Okay, thank you. And then when would your timeline be to talk with the Board of Ed to see about how you might be divvying it? Because
We'll
it
have
won't
to
be
talk
done-
to the Board of Ed about when we can sit down and have that discussion.
It would probably be before people would be moving in and you actually start to get revenue.
I would assume it would be
I
before
imagine.
5 years, yeah.
Thank you very much for
Few weeks,
considering,
maybe? I
Thank
don't know.
for considering like sharing or giving even all of the of the money to them, or,
Thank you.
I really do support the school.
Yeah,
today.
it's-
Thank you.
we'll
for
take a
supporting
look
them,
at it.
too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Also, it might help the public if you're able to put together an Excel sheet of all of these different projects to just so people can get an idea of what's going on. Is that something you could do?
Yeah, well, the problem with that is we're not yet approved through the courts on the project, so we're not in a position yet to indicate that they are the projects that we're going to move forward with, because we're not sure yet. But as soon as we have our plan completed and outlined, then we absolutely will list all the projects and the affordable housing impact from each of those.
For any that have already started, like for any abatements or pilots, would you be able to just start a list?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple that have already been approved through the planning board that we could certainly highlight those.
That'd be great, thank you.
Sure.
Also, I had a hard time finding the agenda and any other documents. I don't know, I'll probably talk to Pam and see if she could walk me through how to find them.
For tonight's meeting?
Mhm.
Okay, we'll make sure you get, they're all on the website.
Yeah, okay, all right, thank you so much.
I'll email you
Yeah.
the link right now.
Anything else from the floor?
So to the point about timing, louder, please. To the Merrill Bisberg, 4 Hickory Hill Road. To the point about timing, I guess the question would be, could the language be modified before it's voted on tonight? Or does it have to be an up or down vote tonight? And thereby take another month until the next meeting before it could be considered again?
So,
Because if not, I think there's probably, with a lawyer here, there's probably ways that the language could be changed.
Yeah,
And number two, if this isn't going to be included up front, then will this body consider the Westering pilot, which we're a few years into, which I think is also a 30-year pilot?
I'm sorry, which one are you talking about?
Westering,
Okay.
which is the other
Mhm.
pilot. there are students in our school from that development. It is, part of it's all affordable, but it was subdivided. I don't really know the whole story. But anyway, there's a pilot for it. So I would just ask the same question, because if that's another one where it was decided upon, I don't know what the county gets. It probably goes down, straight down the law, but I know that the schools are currently not included, and I would ask consideration for that also.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Philomena Salili, 24 Ricebrook Road in Hillsborough. I've listened very intently tonight, this evening, and one of the most positive things that I heard that came out of this meeting was that the Township Committee is going to be meeting with the Board of Education to resolve what I perceive to be common issues. Issues on the township with affordable housing, which is a directive which we aren't in a position to really do anything about, and the impact it's going to have on the educational system. I'm a former educator, teacher, guidance counselor. I know the problems that are perceived. I think the meeting, when it comes together, if you have representatives and you look at the issues that are facing the schools, the issues that are facing the township, and have leaders for those, and then have subcommittees to come up with alternatives that would commonly help address this financial, whether it's the tax rateables, which is very important to all of us, and also the educational system. I don't like hearing teachers have to get fired or teachers have to be asked to leave, but to look at a strong committee and trusting in each other and what you're saying, and have a subcommittee look at that, come up with alternatives. As far as the ordinance passing tonight, everything that was said here, I believe, is on the record, and I trust that whatever is said by Mayor Delcor or anybody that was on the committee that spoke on this will be taken into consideration. But I think the coming together of the two entities is of concern. Thank you.
Any other comments from the floor?
Heather Larico, 23 Bloomingdale Drive. You didn't answer the one lady's question regarding the timeline. Simply because the application is due in September, that's something that the Township Committee and the developer should have considered. If we've already had pilots passed in this town that have not in the past contributed to the school district, then I believe that's an issue that really needs to be discussed before the committee votes. Simply lack of planning should not automatically generate approval for this pilot. I don't think that's appropriate. So
Yeah,
what is?
I'm not sure it's lack of planning. It's a matter of the timing
Well,
of.
we waited until the last meeting before supposedly the application has to be submitted.
But you're presuming that there's not a million things in the middle of that process that
I'm
dictate.
not presuming, but I'm saying,
you are.
obviously this is something that you knew was coming, that people were going to have concerns about regarding regarding providing some kind of support to the school district. Obviously, in the past, apparently, which I didn't know, the Township Committee has approved pilots that created residential housing and did not provide a portion to the school district. Living in town, we obviously all know what's happened in the last year, the cut to state aid, et cetera. So obviously that was going to be an issue of concern. So the question that was asked was, in terms of timing, can there be a change made tonight or not to the wording, guaranteeing? I understand that legislatively 5% must be given to the county, but if there's nothing precluding the township from saying, we guarantee a minimum of this percent, I don't see why that's difficult. You have a general idea
the issue would
of
be
what excuse me, I'm not done.
Okay.
You have a general idea of what the total is going to be from the pilot, so to be able to say, hey, we'll guarantee a minimum level of support, I don't see how that's unacceptable or not able to be done. I don't know.
Mayor, can I make
Her
a statement?
question was asked regarding timing.
From my
and it wasn't
perspective,
answered.
I'll answer you from my perspective. I'm sure my township council committee members will agree, is we just don't change things in the middle of an ordinance. It does have to go through legal, it has to go through discussion, it has to determine,
Well, that was the question.
has to determine what those, let me finish.
Okay.
What determines how much money we're actually going to get. I mean, all that has not even been decided quite clearly. It's the first time anyone has brought this to my attention, that the school wanted, it is, from percentage-wise. And I think the mayor has discussed that briefly with some of the other members, and have heard that from the public, which we said we were willing to consider. Tonight's ordinance is simply to move the project forward with the financing part of it. He clearly stated that moving forward, we would have those discussions with the school board. So, in my opinion, I'm not going to hold up an ordinance that needs to meet our affordable housing requirements by dates to do that. We said we would move forward, and we would have discussions. This is a 4 to 5 year plan from the time that we pass this, if they build it, that we're even going to see any revenue. So there's plenty of time for that discussion to happen, and we will do that.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate, the discussion that's been had this evening. I guess my concern is that once this ordinance is passed, the way it's written, the district has no guarantee, the children in this community have no guarantee.
Well, they shouldn't be basing it off just of a tax abatement program either. We have to come up with our own means of income and doing our budgets correctly. And no disrespect to any budgets processes, but, it's a rolling agenda. We didn't expect any kind of agenda to be turned down by the public for the Board of Education's referendum. These are things that we don't consider because it wasn't even in our budget. So we will have those discussions moving forward and how our community can work together to do that. But it's not based on this ordinance.
Okay, I appreciate that, and again, just trying to get an understanding of the process, which is why I'm here, which is why I'm asking questions. I'm willing to learn and I'm willing to accept that, but again, I don't appreciate a little bit of the attitude that I'm receiving. Again, my question was simply...
There's no attitude. There's no
to get
attitude.
the question answered that she
You're a
had
little
asked.
condescending to
So
us, but there's no
now-
attitude.
So now that I have that answer,
Well, that's-
again,
you
I
are.
appreciate it. I think that the committee just needs to be aware of the fact that there is a perception that once this ordinance passes, the children in this community and the children that are brought to this community have no guarantee that there will be any contribution. So everybody in their heart of hearts may say, oh yes, that's great. There's no guarantee of that. And I think that's what people are concerned about, particularly knowing that there have been other programs that have been passed, that have been approved, that have brought children into the community, and that the schools have not seen any additional resources.
And I strongly recommend you take that to the assembly people who are local, Assemblyman
but-
Feynman. No, because they
But the
legitimately...
assembly, yes, they could pass a law saying you have to.
They can help us to do that.
They could pass a law saying that you have to, but it sounds as though, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there is no legislation precluding the township.
But we don't
from up
legislate, so
front
the state needs to
saying-
do that. That's why I'm asking you to also
what?
include your assemblymen
So
who
we
can...
need to get a law
Hey, come on.
Okay, again, just trying to
We
ask
don't
questions
change those
and be an
laws, John, you
informed
know
member.
that.
So I'll give you just a primer on
Not
the
the
timeline.
affordable housing law.
A change to what is in the ordinance today would be considered not a minor change, and it's not something we'd be able to pass and change tonight. I think we've said very clearly, we're happy to work with the Board of Education. I think we've been more than willing to work with the Board of Education over the past years. I hope they're as willing to work with us. They've indicated they have, so we're happy to do that. But we're not in a position to change because we have to meet some affordable housing timelines that changing it and reintroducing this, we do not have the luxury of.
I'll just add one tidbit because we have someone coming up, but we don't know, obviously it's 4 or 5 years from now, right, that this will be fully built out. We don't know the number of students, though we can guess what the number of students that are going to be here. So for us to arbitrarily say there's going to be 50 students, so therefore we're going to give X to the school board would be unresponsible. So in 4 years from now, when we have a better idea that maybe there might be 20 kids, or maybe there'll be 80 kids in this facility, we'd have a better idea of what the fair share would be and negotiate that. So right now, just to arbitrarily say we're going to give 10%, 20%, or 30% to the Board of Ed based on what might be happening in 5 years from now would be A, unresponsible, and B, unfair to both sides. So I think the conversation to have is more when we get closer to the build-out and we have a better idea who and how many kids are in this school. So to sit here and right now decide what number is the best number to be, after listening to everybody here, I think is putting the cart before the horse.
Michelle Kidd, 632 Robin Road. So there's been a lot of talk about what we can't do with the pilot money, like, and lay that out. Can you explain what the pilot money is used for currently?
It's basically, it's pilot stands for payment in lieu of taxes.
Okay.
So it's just not called a tax payment, but it's a payment to the municipality in lieu of their tax burden.
And in lieu of the school taxes?
Well, there's a tax levy that comes into the town, and then it's apportioned out based upon the ratios as we have them today. The pilot program, because of the way it's structured in the statute, allows the municipalities to treat them a little differently than normal tax levy.
Can you give me I'm just trying to understand, in what way is that different? Like, would that allow for that money to be used towards the education? Is that even an option?
Yes, we can, as a governing body, we can decide that the money that comes in lieu of taxes can be apportioned out in some other way other than the 95.5% that the counselor indicated. But we're not in a position to talk about that yet.
I just want to make sure it's possible.
Yes, it is possible, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a quick question. Is it possible that there could be like, instead of worrying about how many students are going to be in what, development, it's kind of like when we tax, we have a certain amount of taxes that we give the Board of Ed, and it may be different for an abatement, but that if it was just standardized, then everyone would relax. Whenever there was an issue like this, they would just know, oh yeah, the school gets this percentage, the town gets this, the county gets 5%, and it would avoid all this nervousness.
Sure, that could be done as part of the discussion we're having.
So it wouldn't be
It's not
different for
something-
everyone, it's just these are our percentages.
But that's set
Maybe.
as a time and place, right?
Right,
That's
not
a,
now, but as
you know,
something we might
and that number
do at that meeting.
continues to change over time. It's not a static number.
Right, but the percentage could.
The percentage isn't static either. Because it's not. The percentage that goes to the schools does not stay the same every year.
I mean, just to avoid this,
It depends on the total amount of the tax base and the tax levies associated with each of those budgets.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other comments from the floor?
I came up before very strongly and indicated how pleased I was to see the interaction between the Board of Ed and the Township Committee and anyone else who might be involved in all of this. I hope that when this does occur, and that if I could address that, I don't know if anyone can hear me, but
You got to speak into the mic.
address that to the fact that I understand that this is a very emotional issue. I'm in it myself, because we pay a lot of taxes, and I'm a senior citizen, and I would like my taxes to be stable and reduced because I want to stay in Hillsborough. All right, so we have a common problem here, but I think the emotional reaction that we're getting, perhaps as you perceive it from both sides, to be a major part of the issue. We have to be objective about this. It's a situation. The Township Committee cannot make the requirements that you're acting tonight because it's a 4 or 5 year projection. So if we go through with this ordinance tonight, as I think I heard Attorney Willard say, is that it's step 1 leading to step 2. I could be wrong. I'm giving you my opinion, but I would like to see the Board of Education with Judy and Jean and Jane and whoever else becomes elected this year to recognize that this is not a your issue and the township issue, or my issue as a resident of Hillsborough for 40 years. It's a common issue, and we need to come up with a common solution. And putting a timeline on this is very difficult, as Committeeman Lapani said. So I just feel a need to say that to the group. Let's put our heads together, let's get the people in place, and work together and look at it as an objective issue, because that's what it is.
Thanks, Joe.
All right. All right, any other comments? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Motion to close and adopt, sir. Close and adopt, Frank.
Motion to close.
I'm sorry, motion to close the public hearing and adopt ordinance 2019-12.
So moved.
Second. Yep, third.
Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley? Yes. Mayor Delcor?
Yes. Thank you. Can we move to ordinance 2019-13, which is an ordinance amending the salary ordinance to include the position of Public Works Foreman and setting forth that salary? There exists a need in the position of foreman within the Public Works Department. This ordinance establishes that position and sets the salary. May I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance
So moved.
2019-13?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any discussion from the dais?
No.
Any comments from the floor? Okay. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing and adopt ordinance 2019-13?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes, and
Committeeman-
congratulations.
Committeeman Lapani?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley? Yes. And Mayor Delcor?
Yes. Ordinance 2019-14 is an ordinance amending Chapter 143, which is Vehicles and Traffic, Article 12, Schedules, Section 14342.1, Schedule 13A, Mid-Block Crosswalks of the Township Code of Hillsborough Township, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey. There's a need for a mid-block crosswalk on South Triangle Road. The Chief of Police has recommended that a mid-block crosswalk be placed approximately 1,150 feet south of Triangle Road, which is on the north side of Triangle Elementary School, and on South Triangle Road. That's for pedestrian safety. We've been holding off on finalizing this crosswalk across from Triangle School until the paving work was completed. That is now done, so we'd like to move forward with the crosswalk. May I have a motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 2019-14?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Discussion from the dais? From the floor? Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing and adopt ordinance 2019-14?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeewoman Lapani?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley? Yes. Mayor Delcor?
Yes. We'll move to introduction of new ordinances. 2019-15 is an ordinance appropriating certain monies held by the Township of Hillsborough, County of Somerset, State of New Jersey for the purchase of various capital improvements in the amount of $676,578 in and for the Township of Hillsborough. Further consideration of this ordinance and a public hearing will be held on September 10th, 2019. This ordinance is necessary to provide for necessary items recommended as high in the priority by our capital planning committee and further validated by the planning board. Their purchases are based upon what is available from the developer's offsite contributions and the capital improvement fund. I have a motion to introduce.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments from the dais? Any comments from the floor? Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeewoman Lapani?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley? Sorry. Yes. Committeewoman McCauley? Yes. Mayor Delcor?
Yes.
Thank you.
2019-16 is an ordinance amending the salary ordinance to include the positions of township arborist and sign shop operator and adding stipends for supervisor of the day and township arborist assistant and setting forth the salaries. Further consideration of this ordinance and a public hearing will be held on September 10th, 2019. Amendments to positions within the township are needed to be effectuated by ordinance as we continue to expand our competencies and services. This amendment will allow the township to complete these tasks in-house rather than outsourcing them, which has been the case, and therefore ultimately saving taxpayer funding. The need for these services has gotten so great that the need for an in-house person outweighs the cost of is under the cost of outsourcing. This ordinance establishes said positions and sets forth the salaries. Can I have a motion to introduce this ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Any comments from the dais? Comments from the floor? Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes?
Mayor Delcor?
Yes. Ordinance 2019-17 is an ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement Chapter 92 of the Township Code of the Township of Hillsborough entitled the Police Department, most notably Section 928 entitled Appointments and Promotions. Further consideration of this ordinance and a public hearing will be held on September 10th, 2019. This ordinance is to provide some minor amendments to the police promotional process. May I have a motion to introduce this ordinance?
So moved.
Second?
Any comments from the dais? From the floor?
Can you just give us a little further information about what this is beyond the sentence in the ordinance?
You wanna-
Sure. This is just a revision of how we handle the promotional process.
Revising to?
It's just streamlining the ordinance. It's already a promotional process of the police committee does all the hiring and all the interviews and all that process, and it's just changing it up to the captain level. It's already in place now. It's just making it streamlined all the way up, the same way, all the way up to the top of the captain level.
Thank you.
Anything else from the floor? Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes?
And Mayor Delcor?
Yes. We're going to move on to our resolution, the consent agenda. We have items 1 through 29 on the consent agenda. Is there any item that anyone would like to take separately out of that list from the dais?
No.
Okay, seeing none, there's a couple of items I just would like to highlight. We have several authorizations for hiring that I'd like to highlight. We have Mike Corcoran as part of the Clean Communities Temporary Resolution in the Public Works. With us tonight, we have Greg Brandt, who's earlier today we had authorized the position of foreman within the Public Works Department, and if Greg here would like to authorize him as to fill that position. We have also a part-time information technology assistant, Gabriel Baracol. Is Gabe still here? Yes, he is, here as well. And also Anthony Donadio for seasonal help in the Parks Department. Number 5, we're granting permanent employee status to Lisa Struthers in the Finance Department. She moved over from our court system. And also, we have a couple of others. Lee Santaromito is moving over to the Social Services Department, and we have 2 of our office administrators
25, Harrison Wright.
taking on, number 6, taking on additional office administration roles.
Mayor, number 25.
25.
I'm sorry, number 25. I'm sorry, and the hiring of Harrison Wright for the position of building inspector, and Harrison is with us as well tonight.
Mayor, if I could just have a second, I want to thank not only the part-time employees, the supervisors. They're now going on 14-plus hours since they've been here, so thank you for hanging out for the meeting. First, on as you mentioned, Mayor, resolution number 2 with Greg Brandt, promoted up to our foreman position. Obviously, through training and many years he's been here as a new position, it's very well needed, so we're excited for him to join there. Next, resolution number 3 with, as Gabriel, as you mentioned, with our partnership with Raritan Valley College. Been very successful in bringing in college students there, so welcome him and thank Jim and both Rich for being here as well as John. And then, as you mentioned, resolution number 25 with Harris Rent, our building department's been here for 2 months, and being able to move folks up after 2 months, done a phenomenal job. So happy to have him as well as the other 2 people that you mentioned. So thanks for being here tonight, and your supervisors hanging in with you and being part of the meeting tonight. So thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate you sticking it out. I know it's a long, late meeting. Okay, can I have a motion to approve the above resolutions?
So move, Mayor.
Second.
Any comments from the dais on any of the items above?
Is that 1 through 29?
Yeah, I'll get to the public in just a sec. Anything from the dais?
Good.
Any comments from the public? Any of the 1 through 29, yep.
Christine McAvoy, 142 Mountain View Road, Hillsborough. I'm here to talk about item number 19, in which you're granting Apex the ability to work on Sundays. When we had our meetings here, the night that we all came, when you granted Apex the final approval, I asked specifically this committee to guarantee that the hours were going to be enforced, because when the government owned the property, the government got to do whatever they wanted, and I had trucks at 4 a.m. running outside my house because it was the government and they were allowed to do that. And I was guaranteed at that meeting that yes, all the construction would be done on the hours of during the construction. And since since construction has taken place on more than one occasion, that has not exactly happened. The steel deliveries have happened at 8, 9 o'clock at night, during a weeknight. I've had strange men knock at my door at 6 a.m. because the employment center used my address as the location for the job site. And okay, I'll let all that slide. But on Sundays, I don't think that they should be allowed to be working as a private company. This is not a township job. This is a private company, and they should not be afforded the ability to work on a Sunday all day long with heavy equipment when they are working across the street from me 6 days a week as it is, and Sunday is the only day that I don't have to deal with them. And I live, there's less than 50 feet between my driveway and the opening of the park. And I can't blame them. I don't have cameras outside to catch them, but I can tell you this is what I picked up tonight on my way here that was not there this morning, because I had already picked up the garbage this morning and recycling came. So in the course of one day at the gully in front of my house, there are 5 Budweiser cans, 2 soda cans, and a coffee cup. And this is not a strange occurrence. This is every day now, since construction has started, this is what I'm cleaning up. So I would please ask you to reconsider that we get one day of peace on Mountain View Road where we don't have to deal with construction people and construction vehicles. And I'm sorry if they're behind schedule, and I'm sorry that they promised companies, sports teams to come in September, but we deserve some peace. And especially since you already guaranteed me that on the record, on TV, I saw it all there when I watched it, that this was not going to be the case. So I would hope that tonight you keep your word. Thank you.
Louis White, 123 Mountain View Road. Mountain View is just becoming just a garbage dump. Every morning, garbage, all thrown out. Early in the morning, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, trucks are going way too fast. This here has to stop. Sunday, that's the Sabbath. No work on the Sabbath.
Thanks for your comment, both of you. As it relates to the garbage, you know, I don't know what, inexcusable, and we will have a conversation with with both the owners and the developers to see what is going on. There's no reason for any of their workers to be leaving garbage on the site, or worse, in view of any of the properties. So we will look at that. As it relates to the construction, I certainly understand your frustration. I know it's the issue will be if it's either going to extend the construction weeks, or it's going to be trying to move it closer and get it done sooner, which I think is why we're looking at it to try to get it done sooner, because if otherwise you're going to be dealing with construction into the holiday season. Yeah.
Come up to the mic first.
We dealt with this
Please,
here-
yeah, just come up to the mic.
We dealt with this here with Charter for about 3 years. So if they have to extend it, they have to extend it, you know? There's really no reason, you know, to have them be working on a Sunday. Bad enough that reason why I bought my property is because I can see the mountain. Now I can't see the mountain because I got a big pile of dirt right in front of the house. Has to stop.
Excuse me. It says here Apex is requesting 24/7 interior work for 4 months. That could be loud also.
Well, once the building gets enclosed, it's, you know, you're doing interior work.
Resolution 13, resolution authorizing adjustment in the not-to-exceed amount for professional services contract for the year 2019. This is a increase for the township attorney in the not-to-exceed amount of $50,000, an additional $25,000 for legal services. So as of this date, $50,000 has already been paid to the law firm of DeFrancesco Bateman.
Yeah, a good portion of that is for Oprah requests.
A good portion is Oprah requests. Kind of curious that this particular resolution is printed a lot smaller than all of the other resolutions. Now, I see on the claims list.
Why- I'm sorry, I don't understand what that means.
For.
What do you mean it's printed
The
small?
type is.
Oh,
The type,
if
the
you
font
look
is
at it-
made smaller.
If you look
Oh.
at it, you'll
It's
see that
just
the
the-
type is a lot smaller. And on the claims list on page 4, under general legal services.
We're not on
it
the
shows
claims list yet.
DeFrancesco
Yeah, we're not on
Bateman.
claims list.
Yeah, we're not on claims
We're not
list
on the
yet.
claims
Miss-
list yet.
We're not on claims list yet.
7,000.
We're not on claims list yet. You can talk about that when we get to claims
Okay,
list.
thank you. Oh, so basically on that resolution, that 25,000 more, is that something unusual? Does that contract normally stay within the 15, not to exceed 50,000?
We're not on there yet.
Annual, or is this something?
Are you talking about number 13?
Number 13, yes.
It depends on the
increase.
amount of legal work we have, and sometimes that gets prompted by the amount of work that we don't anticipate.
So is it normal?
128 Oprah requests will generate some additional legal
Is
costs.
it normal? Can you please elucidate what you're referring to right now?
The 128 Oprah requests that you've submitted thus far this year.
That I have submitted?
Yes.
Okay, and so that has increased William Willard's payments?
It certainly, those have to be reviewed by legal, yes.
Okay, well, if things were more transparent and there was more information given out, then there wouldn't be a need for Oprah requests. So is this uncommon, or is this basically every year?
Mayor, this gets
that
done every year by the
50,000?
CFO.
Yeah.
You can you can Oprah that too if you want to add to our additional legal
There
costs,
you
but
go.
that gets done
That's
every
why
year.
That's why I have to submit
Every year,
Oprah requests.
every year at this time.
But we do it every year.
And you ask
We
that
try to
question
set,
every
we
year.
try to set a budget. We estimate what that may be, but if we have to go over, we have to adjust the budget. It
Okay.
doesn't change the budget, we just have to move it within line items.
Okay, so this is basically a occurrence every year where it goes over the 50,000?
Most, yeah, I mean, we probably exceed 50.
Yes.
Yes, the
We have,
answer is
we have
yes.
Yes.
we have a 40,000-person municipality with $30 million budget, and we've, it's a $50,000 legal fee.
Okay, well, because if that's an occurrence, then maybe you should just consider the contract showing a higher amount. Thank
I'll
you.
take that under advisement.
It's 50 at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Say my name again.
Yes, please.
Christine McAvoy, 142 Mountain View Road. I just want to ask, somebody mentioned when I was up here, it just hit me that what somebody said, that they're going to be allowed, as part of this, 24 hours inside, because it doesn't say anything about inside here. It just says that they are going to be working on Sundays. So I'm confused. I don't know who said it, but somebody up here
I
did.
think they're referring to both here. 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and no Sunday hours is in the first paragraph. The second paragraph, it says it's requesting 24/7 interior work for 4 months, from October to January.
Where does it say that in what I'm reading on page 35?
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to look it up.
I just opened up the,
That's
opened up the first one.
That's not what you have printed here.
Correct. Mayor, do you want me to answer that?
Yes, please. I'm just trying to pull it up,
The
sorry.
resolution only outlines what is for outside of our normal operations to allow them to have Sunday. We do not regulate what people do on the interior of their establishments in terms of work hours. So that the resolution is only for going outside of normal work hours because it's on an exterior.
So if I owned a business in town, I could bang on wood until 24/7?
There are noise ordinances. There are noise ordinances that they have to be compliant with during certain hours, not during normal business hours.
So what
But-
you're going to vote on tonight is just about Sundays?
Correct.
Okay. Well, I hope you take into consideration that, again, this is a private company. This is not a government entity. This is a for-profit private company, and they should not be afforded any other benefits that a regular business has not been granted and probably asked for in the past, and everybody else who wanted to make a business here probably had to extend and wait and open later. And just because they want to open for September sports, that should not impact us having the last few Sundays of the summer of peace and quiet. And we'll leave it at that.
Thank you. Any other comments on the consent agenda?
Nope.
You can come on up. Somebody.
Judy Haas, not speaking as the Board of Ed president, just as a private citizen. Item 29, you have a authorization to advertise for removal of the Willow Road Baseball Complex fencing. Has it been announced what the plans are for that property going forward?
It's not, but since we moved the Little League complex over to Mountain View Park, this past winter, there was some significant damage to some of the fencing. So we're taking it down for some safety-related reasons. There's also a process we're working with the Rotary that some of the fencing can actually be reutilized in, where is it?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
In Africa, yeah. So we just have to, we've authorized it in the budget. We just have to go to bid to get the process good. But we don't have a formal plan to what's going to happen with the Willow Road after we remove the fencing.
Okay, how many acres is that property?
32, I think.
Okay.
Somewhere around 30, 31, 32.
There are a lot of
Yeah.
rumors going around the neighborhood, so if there is a plan, I'm sure the neighborhood would be
Well,
very
it's
interested in
it's
hearing.
designated open space, so there's only so many
Right.
things that we can do with it. It's,
Right, absolutely. But, you know, a lot of the other sports organizations are wondering whether or not it would be available for them, so.
we have no formal plans yet. We're still working through what ultimately can happen. The problem is renovating, even if we wanted to do that, converting the baseball fields to anything else is relatively costly, and as you know, Jude,
Always about the money.
everything takes money. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hi.
Okay.
For 21, would you be able to share what the updates are?
They're relative, I don't recall specifically what the Anthony, do you know what the library updates they're looking to do are?
I know what they were looking at was actually a three-way share with the township, the Friends of the Library, and the county library system in making more space available, that they didn't have enough rooms for like the study halls and things of that sort. So the three groups have gotten together and making sure that, again, working together so that they can have more space there. That's one of the issues, that there's just not enough study space for the residents and the children.
All right, thank you so much.
All right.
And those funds were coming from late book fees, nothing from the township. A lot of late book fees out there.
Yeah, it's amazing, really.
And Mayor, to go backwards, and I apologize, I don't want to get the wrong country, but we in Recreation have been donating a lot of old equipment and jerseys and T-shirts to less fortunate, and most of the kids in other countries are running around with Hillsborough T-shirts with numbers. So they don't want to put that fencing in the landfill, so they were looking at taking that fencing and building backstops and bringing it to the same kids that we've been donating a lot of those things to.
No, it's great
With
that
the
we
Hillsborough
get
Rotary.
Hillsborough out there. We just have to put Best Place to Live in America on the front, and we'll be all
So there's a lot
right.
of kids with Hillsborough rec T-shirts out there around the world.
Sure, come on up. No problem.
Christine McAvoy, 142 Mountain View Road. So I didn't realize I had the ability to ask this question, but I would like to have you consider if you would please take number 19 out of the list and vote on number 19 separately. I feel like I've sat here long enough tonight to get that courtesy, to know exactly how you vote on number 19. Thank you.
So,
That would be the prerogative of you, the mayor, and the township committee, not the floor.
yeah, you can certainly ask. It's really the members on the board can pull certain ones out separately, but we understand your point.
I would like to pull 19 out and vote separately on it.
Would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to pull number 19 out and vote separately.
Do we have a second?
We're getting to the end anyway, but, okay.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Okay, can I, no other comments from the floor? Can I have a motion to approve 1 through 18 and 20 through 29?
So moved.
I'm sorry, I was...
1 through 18 and 20 to 29. I
So
need a
moved.
second.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes.
Yes.
Committeeman Lapani.
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley.
Yes.
Mayor Delcor.
Yes. Okay, can I have a motion to adopt consent number 19?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sorry, I'm just trying to. Committeewoman Holmes.
No.
Committeeman Lapani.
When this came in front of us, obviously, we thought long and hard about this, and we weighed the Sunday hours, though, being August through October versus extending noise and construction through the winter months. And in my opinion, it wasn't about the fact that it was a private residence, the fact that the construction that you guys have been going through with the abatement of the land across from you for the pollution over the past few years, the fact that they built the baseball fields over there over the few years, and this project would soon bring everything to a close faster, and that's why I am in favor of it.
Is that a yes?
That's a yes.
Okay,
That's a favor.
I'm sorry, Committeewoman McCauley.
With Committeeman Lapani's explanation, I know it's not going to make you happy, but I think that was the agreement that all of us had in discussion, was that it would help you get through it faster, genuinely. Yeah, and I apologize on behalf of them because of the garbage issues there. It's the first I've heard of that. As the mayor stated, we will address it for you, and we hopefully will get through this quicker for you and hopefully quieter.
I'm sorry, I'm very sensitive to this issue because I drive down Mountain View every
I do
day.
too, every day.
And I know the burden you're under, and needing a day of peace seems reasonable to me. If you're not minding it goes on further, which you seem happy about. All right.
Sorry.
Mayor.
I'm tired. I'm just tired.
She's
Mayor
tired.
Delcor.
You need more master.
So, as I noted earlier, it was kind of the same situation for me. I recognize you want a day of peace. We're trying to get this moved along as quickly as possible. We will look into the garbage issue. We'll look into ensuring that there's, you don't have people dumping stuff in your plain view, but we do want to try to move this along. So with that, I know it's not going to make you happy, but yes. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve Claims List 2019-23?
So moved.
Second.
Comments from the dais? Comments from the floor? Excuse me.
I guess not.
Okay. No comments on Claims List? All right. Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeeman LaPlante?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes?
Mayor Delcor?
Yes. All right, that concludes our regular session this evening.
I'm sorry, sir, we have
Claims
another
list.
claim list.
You got claims list
You have 24
19,
also.
23.
Oh, I'm sorry. Claims List 2019-24. Could I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second?
From the dais? Comments from the floor? Roll call, please.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeeman LaPlante?
Yes.
Committeewoman McCauley?
Yes?
Mayor Delcor?
Yes. That does conclude our regular meeting. We do have an executive session this evening. Ms. Porrick, will you please read the executive resolution?
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231 of the Public Laws of 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, whereas the Township Committee is of the opinion that such circumstances exist. Now therefore be resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Hillsborough and County of Somerset, State of New Jersey as follows. The public shall be excluded from the discussion of the hereinafter specified subject matter. Number 2, the general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is as follows. Property acquisition, potential litigation. A, 48 East Mountain Road, Block 175.18, Lot 25. B, 34 Hamilton Road, Block 199, Lot 12. Number 2, contract negotiations, Brown, letter A, Brown Avenue Development Agreement. Number 3, the Township Committee may take official action on those items discussed in the executive session upon the completion of the executive session. Number 4, the minutes of those discussions shall be made available to the public as soon as the matters under discussion are no longer of a confidential or sensitive nature. Number 5, this resolution will take effect immediately.
Okay, can I have a motion, please?
Motion to go to closed session.
Second?
Comments from the dais? From the floor? Roll call.
Committeewoman Holmes?
Yes.
Committeeman LaPlante?
Yes.
Committeeman McCauley?
Yes?
Mayor Delcor?
Yes, thank you. We're going to go into executive session now. Good night.